Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Between the Lines Friday Night Football. I'm Chris Miller from the Coach's Box and Off the Rails Media, and with me as always doing these, because I guess he had nothing better to do tonight, is Coach Zac McVey. Zac, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Chris. How about yourself?
You know, I'm doing great because this is high school football, man.
This is week 3.
It's awesome.
This is opening conference week all across the Jefferson County area, Mineral area, and we're ready to go. We're excited. I mean, we've got a big matchup today. Shades of the old black and blue bash between the visiting Grandview Eagles and the host St. Pius X Lancers. And I think we're in for a treat tonight.
Yeah, I do too, man. I think this is going to be one of those games that, I think it's going to be a tough game for across the board. I think we're going to have kind of one of those old school kind of boxers matches. I mean, both teams I think are coming off some big wins, and I really think that it's going to be one of those games that it's going to decide a lot, obviously, with the conference and everything moving forward.
Exactly, and we'll try and get maybe an abbreviated preview here as we are celebrating Military Appreciation Night at Father Dalton Stadium, and we want to try and get as much in as we can before the prayer, and it looks like they're going to get right into the prayer and national anthem. So, Chris, if you want to, we can maybe take a break, and then when we get back, we'll go with the both team previews, capsulations of week 3.
Yep, you're watching Between the Lines Friday Night Football. We'll be right back.
Tailgater tailgating to get to my tailgate. Now, it might not get me there any faster, but hey, it gets me ready for football. Let's tailgate.
I can't go anywhere.
But you're so busy watching me tailgate that you don't see the one in front of you. And your cut rate car insurance, it might not pay for this. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Hi, I'm Fran Tarkenton, Hall of Fame quarterback and founder of Tarkenton Financial. And this is my good friend and partner, Brian Waits, founder of Waits Financial Services.
Thanks, Fran. At Waits Financial Services, we believe in educating our clients, providing courteous service, and helping every person we work with create a winning game plan for their retirement.
Retirement is a lot like football. You need a solid game plan and great teammates in order to achieve success. That's why I started Tarkenton Financial, to help educate people about their choices and connect them with advisors I trust. And Brian is one of my trusted partners.
I'm here to help you meet your financial goals, minimize your tax burden, and ensure that you have income guaranteed for life. Let's get to work on your retirement game plan.
Call Brian Waits at Waits Financial Services today. You'll be glad you did.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
You aren't looking for a cookie cutter experience with your agent. You are looking for someone who is going to go above and beyond or think outside the box. You are looking for someone who is going to be there for you no matter what, and someone who is going to walk you through the entire process. My name is Kelly Kaufman with Gateway Real Estate, and my passion is the people I work with. Real estate is personal. A home is not just the four walls, it's the people who live there and the memories you share. That's why I focus on the people I serve and make them a top priority throughout the entire process. I'm there for you. No matter what your budget is, no matter where you are, and no matter how long it takes, I will be there with you every step of the way. If you are looking for an agent who cares about you and will do everything to make sure you are taken care of, give me a call, 314-221-6090.
New at Case & Buck's, all-you-can-eat soup and salad all day, every day. Choose from homemade soups like tortellini, loaded steak, green pepper, and many more. 7095 Metropolitan Boulevard in Barnhart, Missouri, just off 55. See our full menu at caseandbucksbarnhart.com.
I have a question about my listing price.
Updating listing to Lizard Heights.
No, listing price.
Wizard Kites.
Can I talk to a real human agent, please?
All right, everybody, and welcome back to Between the Lines Friday Night Football. We had some a lot of events right there that we had to take care of, and just finished playing the national anthem by the St. Pius X marching band.
Yep, and before that they had their military appreciation event, which was really, really neat. They had Jack Poitras playing taps, and he did an outstanding job. Jack is a Vietnam veteran. He served from 1967 to 1970. They acknowledged all of the current and former military servicemen.
Right.
It was really neat. It was really neat.
You know, and that's the thing too. I mean, I have several members of my family who've served in the military, and I just think it's really cool anytime that we get together for any event and our military are recognized and honored for their service. And to be honest with you, I mean that's what it's all about. I mean it's servitude, and that's one of the important qualities that we like to even to tell our kids when we're coaching that's an important thing.
Yep, exactly. And so they're about ready to get the coin toss going, and while we do that, we'll go ahead and give you a short preview of both teams, starting with visiting Grandview. Grandview comes into Father Dalton Stadium at 2-0 and 1-0 in the I-55 conference. Last week they defeated Bayless. They defeated Bayless in a close contest, 32-30 at home. They are in the same district as the Lancers. They are in Class 1 District 2. So not only does this game have opening, at least for St. Pius, conference implications, but more so district seating implications. And we can go ahead and talk a little bit about those seatings, because right now Grandview sits atop Class 1 District 2, I believe. Right behind them is Deshin at number 2. They're 1-1 on the short season. Brentwood comes in 2-0. Crystal City, they're 2-0. St. Pius Lancers, they're 1-1. Louisiana's 0-2, and Van Far is 0-2. So as it stands right now, Grandview having that number 1 seed, which is most likely going to be a first-round bye. But Chris, we're super early on in the season. A lot can happen here in Week 3, going all the way to Week 10, and right now we're going to get ready to get going here and talking a little bit about some of the players for Grandview. You've got number 7, Austin Blankenship. He's a senior running back, linebacker. Number 12, Jacob Walker. He's the quarterback and defensive back. He's a junior. Number 22, Nash Moore. He's a running back, linebacker. 24, Cameron Hagan. he's a running back. Number 28, Travis Hoskins, he's a receiver linebacker. And Isaac Walker, he's a running back linebacker. And talking about some of the stats that Grandview has, I mean, they put up 33 and 32, so they're scoring quite a bit. Jacob Walker, their QB, he's 12 for 22 on the year with 261 yards in the air and 1 touchdown. Rushing stats, you have Nash Moore. He has 40 rushing attempts, and he has over 200 yards and a couple scores. Number 24, Cameron Hagan, he has about 176 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. And number 12, Jacob Walker, he has 22 carries, only 46 yards, but also a couple touchdowns. So looks like a bulk of the offense that we're going to see, even though it looks somewhat balanced, maybe 60-40 with the rushing. I know they run some read option. You know, we'll see some different things from Grandview. But I tell you, you know, it's going to be some of the similar names and faces with on offense and defense. As Grandview is getting ready to kick, they're going to kick off to St. Pius. And if you're watching live, going left to right across your TV screen, your telephone, or wherever we're at, as we have a squib kick that's initially touched by one of the upmen for St. Pius, and St. Pius will take over their opening possession, 1st and 10, at about their own 37-38 yard line.
Yeah, and St. Pius sits in a position. I mean, they're low in the standings right now for district seeding. That loss to Brentwood was a tough loss, I believe.
It was also a district opponent.
It was a district opponent, and Brentwood sitting at 2-0 as well, not having as many points as Duchesne. Duchesne playing a really tough schedule, especially St. Charles football is incredibly tough. But this should be a really good matchup for both teams.
Exactly. As Smith breaks the huddle, they go right to the wishbone to left hand side. Dabrian Moss on with the carry, going to pick up about a nice gain of about 13 yards for 1st down for St. Pius.
Tackled right there by number 7, Austin Blankenship.
And I think we're going to have a heavy dose of the run for St. Pius. You talked about Dabrian Moss for rushing stats. He's number 2 on the team with about 110 yards, right behind QB James Smith. James comes in with 152 yards rushing and three scores on the ground. As they're staying in the wishbone of bobbled snap, that's going to be handed off to look like number 1, Austin McGuckin up the right-hand side, and he's going to pick up another nice gain of about 12 yards. And if you're Coach Dan Oliver, you are liking what you're seeing right now for these Lancers.
Yeah, and I mean that's what going back to and talking to Coach Oliver a little bit this week. I mean he was just saying that we need to be better with the ball. That's something that he's really talked about. They've had a lot of fumbles in both games this year. Mm-hmm. So making sure the ball security is taken care of.
So now we go to a single back right behind James Smith, on with the toss out to Dabrian Moss. Nice little stiff arm, but he is going to be locked up for a minimal gain. Couldn't see who that was with the tackle on the play, Chris.
Yeah, it was hard to really see right there.
But nice tackle there for Grandview, and that's going to be for St. Pius, their first real, I guess, kind of stop. I mean, they picked up a yard, but going from the wishbone out to a little bit of spread. I mean, under center, single back. Now they're going to go to another formation. They're going to go I formation, 2 receivers out to the right-hand side. Now we're going to have a rollout to the right, designed rollout. Now James Smith's going to go ahead and keep it. Dancing to his left, dancing to his right, picks up a nice gain, decided to keep the ball himself, picks up about 6-7 yards on the play, and that'll bring up a 3rd and short for St. Pius.
So, I mean, that's one of the things that Coach Oliver was talking about, just the fact to get James Smith mobile. James looking down the field and maybe looking a little too long. Coach Oliver was telling me that he really wanted Smith to kind of, if he doesn't have anything, let's put the ball down and run, kind of like his brother did last year.
Mm-hmm. Wishbone formation, handoff to Dabrian Moss up the left side. Rumbling and stumbling, he's going to pick up another 1st down. So right off the bat, you see some ground-and-pound action for these Lancers, and they're looking pretty good. That offensive line able to really just kind of turn themselves into some road graders, picking up their 3rd 1st down of this opening drive.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. I mean, if you're the St. Pius Lancers coaching staff, is just the offensive line pushing and winning there in the trenches, and then running backs finding holes and going.
I formation, Smith takes a snap, drops back. It's going to be picked off by number 44. That's Isaac Walker. Just read James Smith's eyes, looking for the slant route. I believe he might have been looking for, on the initial pass, maybe for an Andrew Merciel, but instead that's going to be picked off for Isaac Walker. And if you are Coach Kimenow of the Eagles, that is, hey, you bend, but you didn't break, and now you're in the driver's seat here with your first possession.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think Smith even saw him. That was a one read all the way. They were looking for the slant, and he just dropped back into coverage, and this is just a great pick.
So now Grandview will take their opening drive. Man in motion, going to be triple option there, given to the fullback. I believe that's number 22, Nash Moore. And Chris, I believe you're going to see a lot of man in motion, triple option, read option, maybe even some speed option for the Eagles, as they're really trying to maybe just turn it into 11-on-10 offense versus defense.
Yeah, and that's something that they've done the last few years, even before our new coach and under old coach Dave Dallas.
Some misdirection here. Broken to the outside, still on his feet. Going to be minimal gain there. That's number 24. That's Cameron Hagan.
Yeah, brought down by number 1, Austin McGuckin.
So after 2 triple option type read plays, it's going to bring up a 3rd and long, 3rd and about 8 for the Grandview Eagles. Grandview they're visiting all white tops, white bottoms. St. Pius wearing their navy blue.
Number 2 is ineligible. Number 2 is ineligible.
We're going to have a option out to the right-hand side. Look like number 22 on the carry, Nash Moore. Good for about a yard and a half. And that'll bring up a 4th and 6 for the Eagles.
And that was number 11, Chase Watercutty, transfer senior from Altoff, Illinois, I believe. He just jumped in there and made a nice play getting the tackle.
Looks like number 4, Wyatt Kime, is back deep to punt for Grandview.
I'd be watching for a fake right now.
And back deep for the Lancers is number 2, Eli Frimmel, as Frimmel's going to take it right on the run, but he's going to be initially met by number 7. That is Austin Blankenship with the initial stop. And St. Pius will take over their second possession at their own 39-yard line.
Be on the 39, I believe, but Frimmel caught that thing on the run, and Eli Frimmel's awfully fast. And just a good play right there by Blankenship, because if he'd let him get loose and get into another level, that could have been dangerous.
So we'll see what adjustments the Lancers make coming out with their second possession. Going back to the wishbone formation, receivers out to the left and to the right side. Smith tosses out to McGuckin to the right side, turns it, cuts it upfield. Going to have another nice gain, pickup of 11. It's going to be a first down, and stopped on the play by number 44, Isaac Walker, who, Chris, I think we're going to hear a lot of tonight, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. And McGuckin making a great play right there, reading his blockers, cutting it back inside, and then finding room to get the first down.
So we'll see what Coach Dan Oliver has with the Lancers, if he's going to say, you know what, we're just really doing an excellent job on the ground. We'll just keep it there. As we're going to have a toss to the left-hand side. Dave Moss going to take it. He's going to get the edge, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds by none other than Isaac Walker again.
We're gonna, like you said, we're going to be talking that kid's name up quite a bit.
He just has some very, very good, if it was on the basketball court, some court awareness, but he just seems to have a very, very good high IQ, sees where the ball's going, makes a good read, and he's meeting guys close to where the hole is.
We are noticing, though, that the Lancers are doing a lot of running to the outside tonight.
So Smith breaks the huddle, going to the wishbone formation. It's going to be a handoff to number 23. That's Justin Lane, their sophomore fullback. Nice gain of pickup of about 4.5 yards. Then I'll bring up a 3rd and short.
I think Blankenship was in on that one too, number 7 again. So we got Blankenship and Walker doing a lot of the work right now.
Doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And so some of their defensive leaders is both Blankenship and Walker.
Well, there you go.
Blankenship having 24 total tackles on the year so far, and Walker with 19.
Hand off to Moss. cuts it upfield, and that's definitely enough for a first down there with about a 10-yard carry.
And you're seeing some really good offensive lineman play right now. Now I know the running backs, they're getting to the second and third levels. They're able to really attack the linebacker and secondary of Grandview. But really it starts with those road graders up front. The O-line doing an extremely good job for St. Pius.
And that's what you got to have. I mean, if you want to keep the ball and kind of ground and pound right here, that'll open up play action.
We're going to have a give here to sophomore Justin Lane. And Grandview kind of in that 3-3 stack, and they bring some guys down on both edges to where it almost looks like it's a 5-3. And with that, Lane picks up a solid 4 yards.
And I would have to say that, Lane runs hard.
He does. He does. He, a sophomore, only a sophomore, but you talk about getting in the weight room. He's 6 foot, 210 pounds.
He's huge.
Yes. Toss right. First time that we call Nolan Sipple's name, number 7. And depending on the spot, looks like they are going to call it short. It's going to be about 3rd and inches as we have 5:50 remaining in the first quarter here at Father Dalton Stadium in Festus, Missouri, home of St. Pius X Lancers, hosting conference rival Grandview Eagles.
Yeah, and we just have the Lancers have a plethora of backs that they can run with. It's just going to depend on who's hot, I think.
Smith takes a snap, handoff up to McGuckin. It's going to be met almost instantaneously by number 69. That's Ethan Otolini, a junior defensive lineman. Nice pop by him, but officials are going to say that's enough for a first down, and so we have St. Pius inside the red zone. So we'll see what they do if they're just going to stick with it on the ground. And Chris, I think that's probably what I would do until Grandview makes an adjustment here.
We've talked about things we would do, and people just don't always do them, Zach.
As we have another triple option read here, given off to Dabrin Moss. Going to be a short pickup of about a yard.
Brought down by number 4, Wyatt Kine.
I think that was number 4, Wyatt Kine, that brought it down, according to our PA announcer, Mr. Ben Irvin over here.
So number 2, Eli Frimmel. Number 4, Matt Miriani, in on some substitution for the Lancers.
Shout out to the coaches. What is this called, Friday night?
We love it up here in this booth. I'm telling you right now. Nothing like the St. Pius X Lancer booth.
Smith breaks the huddle into a wishbone formation. He's going to go on the naked boot rollout. He's going to keep it. He's going to cut right back up the middle, still on his feet. Unfortunately, getting his pants pulled down. We hear that a time or two. But that's going to be a nice gain inside the 10-yard line. And, Chris, I don't know if you could tell me, we're going to have to get a little blur there. Is the FCC going to have a violation?
I don't know. I know you got to come out of the game if your helmet comes off. What about your
I don't know about you. Hey, this is almost the Bobby Boucher. You remember that time? Remember that? No.
We have way too much fun.
We do.
As
the clock rolls down under 4 minutes here left to go in the first quarter. Smith takes the handoff. Toss out to Daber and Moss. Gets a nice stiff arm, and he's going to walk on in for a touchdown. And with 3:52 left in the first quarter, St. Pius X takes an early 6-0 lead against visiting Grandview.
And that was just, again, great blocking, reading the blocks, and I think, Coach, that's what we're going to see all night.
Yep. So St. Pius going for the 2-point conversion. McGuckin with a mid, and he is into the 2-point conversion. He's kind of stopped on his left foot, cut, thought he was going to trip. Instead, he was able to stay balanced, and the 2-point conversion is good.
I'm kind of wondering what that was all about, but hey, you know what? If it works, who cares, right? If it broke, you don't fix it.
Exactly. So, Chris, what have you seen so far that you like maybe from St. Pius on their first couple opening drives?
Well, I really like the fact that, I think that James Smith can throw the ball down the field, but I like setting up and establishing the run which will open up more passing. And they've rolled him out a couple times, giving him the opportunity to look down the field, see if he has anything, and then take off running, which he's taken off running both times they've done that. But I think that if you want to maybe wear down the opponent, running the football, power running, making sure, just winning at the line of scrimmage, that could open things up later on in the game.
Drew Merciel off to kick for St. Pius. It's going to be an onside type kick. And I believe St. Pius is going to potentially recover. And now there's a flag. A Grandview player's helmet comes off, and we'll see what type of action is going to happen. The ball did go past 10 yards, and we possibly hear a conference between the officials. You can hear maybe in the booth that St. Pius coaching staff saying that Grandview touched the ball first.
I believe they did, but it doesn't really matter because whatever the officials see is kind of what's going to be called anyway.
So it looks like they are switching footballs, and we haven't had a call yet.
Still waiting
for. I'm wondering if they're going to say the penalty because they think he touched it before 10 yards. Like you said, there hasn't been a call from
the white hat has not made the call yet.
And you have Coach Oliver and several other Lancers that are on the field waiting for some type of explanation.
Still early enough in the season where things are just kind of...
Well, there's going to be some type of personal foul against St. Pius as the officials are going to mark the ball and move it up about 15 yards. So some type of personal foul.
They're putting the ball at the 38 of St. Pius.
Mm-hmm.
He has to pump his arm 3 times according to the rule book.
So I'm guessing we still haven't got any type of explanation from the white hat on any type of personal foul, any mechanics. So as best we can tell right now, Grandview retained possession off of the onside kick, and then maybe afterwards there were some extracurriculars with a personal foul against St. Pius that will move up Grandview 15 yards. And so Chris, almost a fortuitous bounce, but instead it's going to cost the Lancers some excellent field position, and Grandview kind of sitting in the driver's seat here at St. Pius' own 38-yard line to start their second possession.
Yeah, and it's just the way the ball bounces. You just never know. We're not really sure. Our PA announcer still doesn't know exactly what the call is. I don't think anybody up here really knows.
No, there hasn't been any mechanics.
It looks like it was a personal foul based on how many yards were marked off. Not really sure if they say that there was a face mask or who knows. But that's okay. If it doesn't matter, this is a great opportunity for Grandview to move the ball and establish something on offense themselves. And for St. Pius, it's important for them to show that their defense can make another stop.
So quarterback number 12, Jacob Walker, going to take the pitch and catch out to number 28. That's Travis Hoskins, still on his feet. He's going to pick up a gain of about 2.
Brought down by number 5, Dabrian Moss.
And so Grandview picking up some short yardage here, a couple yards here, maybe 3 yards there, not coming up with any type of big play just yet. As Grandview will go to shotgun. We have 2 receivers out to the left side. Man in motion going to the left. It's going to be a toss sweep out to the left, but he's going to be met in the backfield by number 6, James Smith, bringing the runner that is number 24, Cameron Hagan, back to the middle. And Chris, who's in on that stop?
I believe that was number 11, Chase Watercutty. He's all over the place. He's 6'4", and he's playing what's listed as a defensive back. He doesn't look like a defense. Looks like he's playing on the line.
Playing on the line.
You know what? If you're a defensive back and you can play on the line, good for you. No, they haven't listed as defensive back.
Yeah.
You never know about Coach Tilden Watson's defense.
So once again, short shotgun formation for Grandview. Takes the snap. That's going to be a fake. QB's going to keep it on the QB wrap, but instead it's going to be a rush for minimal, almost no gain
That's number 56, senior captain Alex Moises. And you can see him jumping up and being excited. He's just a kid who plays with a lot of emotion. Still hasn't fixed his shoulder pad, but I'm not surprised.
He is kind of the emotional leader for the Lancers here.
Yes, he is.
That's going to bring up 4th and 14 for Grandview. And now Coach Kimenow has a decision to make. Do you go for it, or do you go ahead and maybe try and coffin corner kick and put the Lancers deep into their own field position?
I think at this point you'd probably coffin kick.
Snap is good. That is going to be a kick out to the right side. It's going to take
Great
a nice bounce for Grandview inside the 5-yard line,
nice.
inside the 3, and exactly what Coach Kimenow drew up for the Eagles. And St. Pius will take over with a minute 40 left in the first quarter. And we're going to see, Chris, that they can have a nice sustained drive of about 97, 98 yards.
I mean, that's if you're punting the ball, that's exactly what you want.
Exactly.
I'm trying to see exactly where that ball is going to be set.
Looks like about the 3-yard line.
At the 3, 2.5 maybe. Who's counting? If you round up, it's Common Core math. You just round up.
And here we go. What? I'm just saying, it's okay if you just say.
I said with all due respect.
With all due respect. So we have wishbone formation. Smith hands off to number 5, Dabrian Moss. Nice run. That is going to be enough for a Lancer first down.
Good job right there by the offensive line, making sure they cleared space and getting them out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Some of the early scores that we have locally, Seckman is up 14-0 on Northwest. Update. That's about the only score that we have that we can find right now.
We'll try to get all the scores updated for everybody here in a little while.
Gonna have a handoff right up the gut. Austin McGuckin, nice little stiff arm, still on his feet. He's at the 40, still on his feet. Finally, it looked like he's pushed out of bounds. And that's a nice big play on the ground for the Lancers.
Yeah, and Austin did a good job right there following his blocker, number 81, Andrew Merciel. And just, I mean, again, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. At this point, you might run a little play action, see if you can get some little pitching catches. But I think right now you just want to go ahead and establish yourself and, again, try to wear them down.
Exactly. If that offensive line is going to go ahead and they're going to move back the defensive line, we have a toss out to the right-hand side.
Great tackle.
Nice tackle, nice stop on the play. Almost looked like it could have been a block in the back as we have some players jaw-jacking each other here. That's what you're going to have in a rivalry.
Absolutely.
I think, Chris, you go back about 15 years, and both these teams started the Black and Blue Bash. It was a traveling trophy that Grandview and St. Pius tried to initiate back when the programs were kind of at the same level, competition level, and it went back and forth for a few years. Then St. Pius was able to capture it for about, I think, 4 or 5 years in a row, and they kind of went away from that tradition. But now Grandview, after a nice winning season last year, picking up, I think, 7-8 wins, plus a first round victory in districts, they're kind of back at it.
Yeah, and I mean they're a much improved team, and again everything that was established by Coach Dave Dallas.
Coach
Kimenow has jumped in there in his first season, starting out 2-0, doing a good job, and that's just what you got to do.
So as the clock begins to wind down here, I think St. Pius and Coach Dan Oliver is content to let it roll. And so at the end of the first quarter, the host, St. Pius X Lancers, will take an 8-0 lead. And Chris, if you want to take us out here for a quick commercial break.
Yep, we'll be right back here with Between the Lines Friday Night Football. In the first quarter, we've got St. Pius X 8, Grandview 0. A lot of football left, everybody, so tune in. We'll be right back.
I'm the latest hashtag challenge, and everyone on social media is trying me. I'm trending so hard that hashtag common sense can't keep up. This is gonna get tens and tens of views. But if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, you could be left to pay for this yourself.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
I have a question about my listing price.
Updating listing to Lizard Heights.
No, listing price.
Wizard Kites.
Can I talk to a real human agent, please?
All right, we are back here at Between the Lines, Friday Night Football edition, brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Start of the second quarter. St. Pius takes the snap, rolls out to the left. James Smith looking deep for downfield for receiver. That is going to be a nice catch, pitch and catch out to senior number 81, Drew Merciel. And that's your first big play from the air for the Lancers.
Wow, what a pitch and catch right there. I mean, Drew had to go up and get that thing with some great coverage. I believe by number 34, trying to see who that is. I think it's 34, Landon Brown, but making a great catch. I mean, that was good coverage too, and just a great throw by Smith. I mean, I know he can throw the ball. It's just he's got to get in rhythm. He's played a lot of JV ball. We'll see how this game continues to progress.
As they flip field position now, and the Lancers excitedly goes to the line. Now they're at a spread formation, and players were not set. Looks like timeout is going to be called by Dan Oliver and St. Pius.
I guess he didn't like something that he's seen.
So we'll keep it here, and we can go over some of the scores. So down at the Battle of Perry County, you have a tie ball game between St. Vincent and Perryville. Seckman, like we said earlier, is up 14-0. Jackson is up early 14-0 over Farmington. No score reported yet for Jefferson and Herculaneum. I know that's another I-55 conference battle rivalry game that was highly anticipated for both schools. Festus Windsor, no score report yet. Early on, North County already up big against visiting DeSoto, 21-0. No score reported for Hillsboro for Zumwalt West. Lindbergh with an early 7-0 lead over Fox. No score for Crystal City and Bayless. Central up 14-0 over Potosi. Valley Catholic up 13-0 over Fredericktown. And no score reported yet for St. Genevieve at host Orchard Farm. So I'm curious. Coach Oliver didn't like what he saw. Don't know if he wanted to try to avoid a flag, a penalty. Looks like they weren't quite set. As now we have Sipple in motion. That's going to be a handoff on the jet sweep. Nice block by number 4, number 1, Austin McGuckin. Sipple still on his feet. Finally is going to be brought down inside the 10, and you're going to have a first and goal situation for these host St. Pius X Lancers.
I mean, great blocking by McGuckin and
Number 4, that's Matt Mariani.
Yep, Mariani. And Jacob Walker had to come in there and make a great play to bring him down, because I think Sipple might have got in there for 6.
Mm-hmm. So, Chris, if we're talking about things that we've seen from week 1 to week 3 with these Lancers, I mean, right now, I like what I'm seeing in terms of, just kind of blocking downhill and ball security. Will knock on wood for them. They've held on to the ball.
Yeah. Hopefully, for me being a homer, I got a great play action. Just a little bit too far right there.
Yep, pass was intended for Dabrian Moss. You had what was looking like maybe a veer option. Instead, turned out to be a play action pass, and Smith just overthrew his intended receiver
just a bit outside.
So that'll stop the clock here with 10:55 remaining in the first half. As center number 60, Alan Reed, always sprints ahead. Now they're going back to the wishbone formation. It's going to be a handoff to McGuckin up to the right-hand side, stopped by a host of Eagles. Good for a pickup of about 2.5, we'll call it 3 yards, and that'll bring up 3rd and goal for St. Pius.
Yeah, I think right here in this situation, I think you got to go with a couple of your big backs. I would look for Dabrian Moss or maybe even Justin Lane to get something right here, especially being 6 to go. And I would say Coach Oliver, even this is 4 down territory, he's going to look to probably go for it no matter what.
It is. So you're going to break the huddle. They're going to go to a shotgun. Now they're going to run a speed option. And James Smith, with a poor pitch intended out to McGuckin, goes onto the ground. McGuckin able to pick it up off of the natural green grass here at Father Dalton Stadium. And that's going to be a loss on the play. Back to 4th and goal, just inside the 10-yard line. So
just a bad pitch right there.
Bad pitch. He didn't take the extra step and then turn his head to look at the pitch man, which was McGuckin. And so now we'll see what they dial up here on 4th and goal.
Yeah, that not a good place to throw a no-look pass coming from the basketball guy over here.
So as the Lancers finally like their play call, Smith breaks the huddle, going back to what looks like a shotgun formation. Debray Moss into the motion to the right side. Smith's going to keep it, going to pitch it out to the intended receiver, which was Drew Merciel, goes right through his hands, and with that, Grandview avoids another score, and they will take the ball with the turnover on downs, 1st and 10 at their own 10-yard line.
Good defensive stand right there by Grandview, making sure that, especially when you get first and goal, to keep the Lancers out of the end zone.
It was
it's tough.
Yeah, and it was that left side of the defense. The Lancers tried to go off tackle, and really Grandview did an excellent job on that second down play, which caused a 3rd and medium on that goal. And the rest is history with what we watched is number 22, Nash Moore, with a nice run, gain of a pickup of about, we'll call it 6 yards. That was a nice heady run, just really aggressive there for number 22, Moore. And he kind of looks like looking at his arm and paying the price for that hard run.
Yeah, he was hit hard right there by number 86, Connor Hamilton, but great run right there by Moore.
So we're going to have the triple option given to the fullback. Once again, that's number 22, Nash Moore. It's going to be a loss of about half of a yard.
And that was number 23, Justin Lane. I think you're going to see a lot of that kid and hear a lot about that kid
this year and definitely in the coming years. So a 3rd and mid for Grandview. As a option-heavy type team, you're thinking you can run what's in your playbook, but we might see a type of pass plays. We have man in motion. We're going to have a QB keeper, and he's going to be brought down, and it looks like he is going to have enough for a first down the way the far official is standing on the 20, and he's waving the crew for a first down. So that is Grandview 1st and 10 now at their own 21-yard line.
Good wrap-up, though, by number 4, Matt Mariani, and finished off by number 5, Debray Moss. But, Grandview can put the ball keep the ball on the ground and do a little damage themselves.
As we have a stoppage in play, don't know since it's week 3 if they're still going to do water break as they're looking at the clock. Or maybe there's an issue with the clock because the clock should continue to roll. And right now it is paused at 6:04, and we have some technical issues with the clock.
I've got 7:37.
So there's some issues with the actual field clock that's keeping the game score of the scoreboard. And so right now I think officials are going to go ahead and call their official timeout for water break since we're still in week 3, although we are at a beautiful night here at Father Dalton Stadium. And Chris, if while they take this timeout, if you want to take a quick break, we can do that. So you are watching Between the Lines, Friday Night Football Edition, presented by Off the Rails Media. So as we come out of the officials' timeout, Grandview going to take the handoff and run up the left side. Good for a pickup of about 1.5 yards. We'll call it 2, as it looked like Alex Moises in on the stop amongst other Lancers.
Carried by number 22, Nash Moore.
As we continue to have some scoreboard issues that might result in officials having to keep time on the field themselves, we'll try and do our best with the counter. And now that right now it's just going to be a guesstimate. So we're assuming here is Graham's going to send a man in motion. Instead, they're going to fake it with a nice little dump down pass to number 22. Great pickup. Nice play call by Coach Kimenow. Good for a gain of about 14 on the play, and Grandview rock and rolling here as they pick up yet another first down, and they'll come up at their own 39-yard line.
Yeah, good pitch and catch right there. Great play call to get the aggressive Lancer defense going right there. And
I like the trickeration tonight, Chris,
I do too.
For the Eagles. I mean, they're running some triple option.
I like that stuff.
Yeah. You could draw it up for everybody if you want. We can maybe get our
one of those boards.
Tell the prompter at halftime. You could explain what the triple option is. We're gonna have another veer option read. That's gonna be stuffed. Nice. Talking about defensive read. Nice stop there. Looked like again sophomore 23 Justin Lane in on the carry for tackle for loss.
Yeah, and Justin Lane, I think that's the kid that, again, he's just going to continue to get better and being able to make reads. I mean, he is the leader of the defense.
And I think right now, if you're Grandview, you're fine with what's going on. I mean, the clock's going to continue to run. It's an 8-0 ball game. You're going to get the ball back at half, and maybe you can come up with bleed the clock a little bit as we're going to have another pass. It's going to be a nice caught on a hitch route. And that's going to be right almost for a first down. Looks like it's going to come up just short. I believe that was number 17, Wyatt Tebow, the junior receiver, and on that pitch and catch.
Eli Frimmel right there. We can hear it in the booth. Maybe you can too, but Frimmel with the tackle, but I think he kind of misread some coverage.
So now you get the QB keeper, just designed for a first down, and they are going to pick that up after a gain of about 3. As the chain gang goes ahead and moves now across midfield. We are not at the 51. We are at the 49. I know some people get confused, but no, we've heard that over the years.
Wonder Dr. Van Houten may be watching right now.
Well, man, you talk about putting guys on blast. I wasn't referring to that at all. As Grandview QB bobbles a little bit. Now he gets out on another bobble by number 24, Cameron Hagan. And Grandview going to have a big tackle for loss of about 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring them back to their side at their own 45-yard line.
Justin Lane getting his number called again, making a play. I mean, he's in there on a lot of stuff. He was in there on the last tackle as well with number 56, Alex Moises. And I think that kid's got a bright future.
So maybe look for a little trickeration here by the visiting Grandview squad as the man's going in motion left to right. It's going to be a play action. Going to be a pass that's out. And that's going to be picked off by, looks like, number 7. That's Nolan Sipple of the Lancers. That ball was kind of just floating. That ball had a little more zip on it. Might have been caught by the intended receiver. I believe the intended receiver is number 7, Austin Blankenship, but instead, number 7, Nolan Sipple in on the interception. And Chris, I think that's at least his 3rd interception on this short season.
You know, he's the kind of kid who can make things happen. He always has his nose in there, especially on defense. And when you're talking about coaching defense, that's exactly the kind of kid you want.
So we'll see right here what Coach Dan Oliver draws up after the turnover. If you're going to go for the jugular right now, as James Smith takes the shotgun pass, going deep right down the field. Overthrows a man. I believe that was number 4, Matt Mariani, and James Smith a little juiced up on that throw.
He was feeling good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, hey, I got to show off the gun sometime here, guys.
So just what we were talking about after coming out of the interception, maybe trying to go for a big play. So after that, with we're going to assume 4:17 left to go in the first half. We'll see if the Lancers go back to some ground and pound.
I look for that to happen.
I mean, you want to try and get a score here, maybe close to the end of the quarter. Grandview is going to get the ball back to start the second half. As Smith in the shotgun, you got trips to the right. Looks like the bubble screen. Dabrian Moss still on his feet. Nice block by the outside receivers. He's going. He's at the 20. He's at the 15, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds by Grandview. Nice pitch and catch there from James Smith to Dabrian Moss on the bubble screen. And Chris Miller, that's one of the first type of plays that we've seen from the Lancers like that, going for a nice gain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just saw with Smith trying to take the top off the defense right there. And trying to get him involved in the offense, except besides running the ball, that's a great play. That's a great play call right there to get some yards. And the Lancers have been doing a really good job of blocking, especially going to the outside and getting the ball to the outside. That's just a great play to do that too.
So with that, Coach Kimenow and Grandview, they're going to call a timeout of their own. And so with 4:07 remaining in the first half, the Lancers cling to an 8-0 lead. And they are inside the red zone looking to try and get another score. And Chris, we'll go ahead and we'll take a short break here. You are watching Between the Lines Friday Night Football edition, brought to you by Off the Rails Media. All right, so we are back here with 4:07 remaining. St. Pius in the driver's seat as they break the huddle, going handoff now. It's going to be a keeper. James Smith with a nice read, still on his feet inside the 5-yard line. He had everybody fooled on that. We thought Austin McGuckin had the handoff. Instead, James Smith with a late keeper, and instead they are rolling first down and goal at about the 2-yard line. What an excellent read by junior QB James Smith.
Yeah, great read right there, and then at the same time, great.
Chris, I'm going to tell you what, I'm distracted because you have this wonderful aroma of funnel fries down here at the Father Dalton Stadium, and if there's a fumble on the play, and Grandview is going to take the turnover inside the end zone, which will result in a touchback. And Chris, I didn't see who was in on that. If it was a bad handoff, a bad snap, exchange, did you see who fumbled?
Well, I believe it was Smith right there trying to, on the keeper.
Just do a little too much?
Yeah.
Let's go, defense.
So with that big change of momentum, what could have opened up to a 2-score game, instead Grandview is going to take possession, and we'll see what they can do running a 4-minute drill here with 3:42 remaining in the first half. That's a big play for Grandview right now.
Absolutely it is.
So his quarterback, Jacob Walker, is going to keep it so far, tuck it up, trying to go up the middle, is going to get nowhere. That's going to be a tackle for no gain, bring up a second down for Grandview as the clock is going to continue to run under 3:30.
And that was James Smith right there on the tackle, I believe, with number 56, Alex Moises. And Smith's probably wanting a little payback. He's probably a little aggravated himself, knowing James.
Well, and Chris, this is kind of what we saw. This is reminiscent of the Brentwood game of Week 1, where St. Pius able to move the ball down the field. So we're going to have a option pitch out to look like number 22, Nash Moore, and that's number 23, Justin Lane, in on the stop. Bring up a 3rd and long for Grandview. This is, the same thing where St. Pius able to run their offense. They get down inside the goal, or inside the 10, and they turn the ball over.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, turnovers will kill you.
Thank you, Monty.
Fly ball caught.
Thank you for that expert analysis.
Blitz. Everybody just blitz.
Jailbreak blitz, huh?
Jailbreak blitz.
So as we bring up a 3rd and 8, 3rd and long 7 for Grandview. Walker back to snap. He's going to look.
Pumps.
That's going to be batted down. Looked like number 86, Connor Hamilton, in on the deflection for the Lancers. So that'll bring up 4th down, and the clock will stop with 2:23 remaining. And with St. Pius, I know they called at least one timeout early. They're going to have, assuming, 2 timeouts left.
Yes.
As Frimmel's back deep for the kick, see if they can come up with a little magic and get a late score here close in the closing minutes of the first half.
I'm really impressed with Grandview and how they've played. I mean, they've been very disciplined with their game plan.
Nice punt by number 4, Wyatt Kime Frimmel. Frimmel catches it, still on his feet. Going to try and bowl through, look like an Eagle, and that was number 22, Nash Moore, pushing Frimmel out of bounds. And so with 2:14 remaining, St. Pius is going to take over 1st and 10 at about the Grandview 33-yard line. So we'll keep it here. Chris, go ahead.
I mean, I'll tell you what, 22 Nash Moore, I mean, he's starting to turn into a player. We've called him out, called his name a couple of times. He's just a junior. His sister Natalie was a phenomenal athlete,
she's a
softball
college
player.
I believe, somewhere.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what, she's one of the best softball players in the St. Louis metro area last few years.
So Smith's going to break the huddle, shotgun formation, 2 receivers out wide. As we're going to have
another
fumble by James Smith. He's got to get himself under control here. He had a great decision on pulling the ball, but once again just has a little case of the fumbleitis.
You got to stop eating buttered popcorn before the games.
Yep. I mean, he could turn into, say, a la Kurt Warner, maybe a Peyton Manning wearing the glove. That might help him out.
I don't know.
Never know.
I don't know. I don't know if I could throw with the glove.
Don't need to right now.
Hold the ball with the glove. I don't know.
So is Grandview switching up their defensive side here. James Smith's going to keep it on the read option. He's going to try and cut back instead of going out of bounds. And so with that, the clock's going to continue to stop, and Coach Oliver's going to call a timeout with exactly 90 seconds left on the play clock.
That was a good tackle right there by number 69, Ethan Odolini. I believe that's how you say it. If we butcher anybody's names,
we apologize.
We apologize.
Not a matter of if, but when and how many times.
Happen.
But right there on that Smith QB keeper, I mean, he's got to understand that the clock's going to continue to run. He's got to get out of bounds, give his coach and the team, keeping 2 timeouts in the pocket there. Instead, tries to cut up the middle. And Chris, I know we've seen some nice runs by St. Pius, but that's something that we've seen whether it was week 1 or week 2. These guys trying to juke and jive all the time instead of, at times you might just have to just put your head down, put your nose down, and try and either run over somebody or get outside and get out of bounds.
You got to establish the north and south running, so that way you can do things like that.
Well, and it's one thing.
To me, I don't know. I guess I don't know a lot about football, but it seems like that would make a lot of sense.
Well, it's one thing if the agility you're going left and right, if it's working, but it hasn't been working the last couple of possessions for St. Pius. So maybe some type of halftime adjustment that the coaching staff tells their skill players, say, hey, just go ahead and go downhill. As now we're going to have Smith putting Nolan Sipple intended on a jet sweep. Instead, we're going to have a flag on the play, and it was thrown by the far side official. Still, and it looks like it's going to be on Grandview, maybe either in the neutral zone, offside, so that they're going to mark off, and that will be good enough for a St. Pius first down. And not what you want if you're Coach Kim and out on the Eagles.
No, especially I believe outside of St. Pius really doing a good job on, moving the line of scrimmage. They've done a good job of the bend don't break on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up first downs.
Yep. Sipple in motion to the right side again. They're going to keep the same play. McGuckin trying to find somebody to lead block for, finally does. Sybil's going to go ahead, and he's going to get out of bounds, we believe. Didn't see any mechanics from officials, but they are spotting it out of bounds, and that will bring up 1st and goal for the Lancers. So right now, with 1 timeout remaining, I guess it's not quite good enough for a 1st and goal situation. It's marked at about the 11-yard line, you have to go ahead and make sure that ball security is paramount.
Absolutely.
Okay? You are within, Drew Marcel kicking, you're probably within his range. But right now, first and foremost, you have to keep care of the football, as we're going to have a toss out to the left side. Dabrian Moss on his feet. Nice little block here, still on his feet, and he's going to go ahead and score. That's going to be a touchdown, a 11-yard touchdown run for Dabrian Moss. That's his second of the evening, and with that, St. Pius will go up 14-0 with the extra point attempt coming up ahead.
Yeah, and I think that's a kid that I think as the game goes on, we're going to hear his name called a few more times.
So St. Pius in their non-traditional formation. Smith's going to take it out right, looking for an intended receiver. Out to, I believe, Dabrian Moss, and he didn't turn around. There's a miscommunication, and the two-point conversion is going to be no good. And so with a minute 15 remaining in the first half, St. Pius X Lancers take a 14-0 lead over visiting Grandview Eagles. And so if you are watching, if you see at the top portion of the screen, we have a new feature, a ticker, and Coach Miller, Chris Miller, is updating us as we go. You can see right on your phone. You can see right at your television if you're watching. You can see all the local.
If you're one of the 4 people watching, yeah, you can see it.
Or if you go back and you watch it again.
Yeah, and you know what? You can go back and watch it for free, just like all of our stuff. If you're watching on the Streamline Sports app, or if you're watching on the Coach's Box YouTube channel, and again, we appreciate your support.
So Drew Maciel back to kick for the Lancers. Nice kick. That's going to go at about the 10-yard line. That's, I believe, number 4, Wyatt Kime. Finally brought down on the play by, looks like, number 42. That is Ethan Diesenroth, a senior, with the nice special teams play. So with a minute and 8 seconds left, Grandview will take over with presumably the last possession of the half, just inside their own 30-yard line. And Chris, what are you going to try and dial up if you're Coach Kimenow?
Well, Grandview does a great job running the ball. I mean, they're not known for their passing, but I look for them to try to set up some passes with the run, so a little maybe play action right here.
So the man's going in motion.
Maybe not.
We're going to have a fullback keeper. He's still on his feet. He's going to pick up a gain of about 5-6 yards on the play. As the clock's going to run under a minute. As Grandview looking to try and go a little hurry up right now. That's Jacob Walker, QB for Grandview, telling the guys, hey, let's go. We've got about 45 seconds remaining. Shotgun formation. Takes the snap. Makes the throw. Long pass. That is going to be almost caught. Pass was intended for number 34. That was Landon Brown. He got behind the cornerback for the Lancers. Lancers really never got his head around to pick up the ball. And Chris, I got to think going forward, if you're Coach Kimenow, you're going to have to remember that play and maybe pick on that corner.
But here's the thing. That's number 7, Nolan Sipple, right there. And Nolan's kind of a ball hawk that we've seen in the last 3 weeks. So, but yeah, Sipple's got to do a better job of making sure that the receiver does not get behind him like that.
So Walker gets the snap. Little confusion there. And Alex Moyes is in with a big tackle for a loss. On the run was number 24, Cameron Hagan. And we'll see with 30 seconds remaining, we're going to have a timeout by the Lancers with 27.1 seconds left to go, trying to set up a situation to where Grandview is going to have to kick the ball back to the Lancers.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. You have to try to see if you get an opportunity right now to get another score before halftime, especially with it being 4th and long. And, you don't think for 1 second that this game is over, because Grandview is scrappy. They play hard. Coach Kimenow has his kids playing exactly the way they need to play. And I mean, this has kind of been a little bit of a slugfest.
It has. That's something that talking with the coaching staff all week, they knew that a rivalry game like this and Grandview, they're like you said, they're going to put their nose and they're going to grind. And so right now, I mean, as both teams are breaking the huddle, I've just got this feeling that Coach Oliver and the Lancers, they're going to try and go after this punt and maybe try and get a block and set something up on Grandview's side of the field. And we'll see if that happens, almost saying, hey, you know what, you might take a roughing the kicker type call if you're going to try and make a play because you haven't seen the long pass for Grandview.
Right.
So we have 2 men back deep as the ball is kicked to number 5, Dabrian Moss, with a spin move, and he just needs to go down at this point, save some clock. So with 19 seconds remaining, St. Pius will take over at their own 46-yard line, and we've seen quarterback James Smith with a huge arm here. Now it's going to be a matter of what can you dial up and can you execute, and then if you need to, get out of bounds.
I would say right now I'd go a little hitch route and try to get the back to bite and little in and up.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it in Madden, but by God, that's what I'm going to run.
Well, we'll see.
I know Coach McVey really likes hearing that.
We'll see. So, as you break the huddle, you have trips out to the right side, single receiver out to the left. You're going to have probably some type of combination route. You are right. So you're going to run that bubble again. Now it's a wheel route. Pass is intended for Dabrian Moss. He's going to catch it. He's going to stay in bounds. And so clock's going to stop a little bit. And the Lancers are going to have to hurry up and get on the line so they can stop the clock by clocking the ball. As the clock is continuing to run down with just over 9.5 seconds remaining in the half. Nice play call in the wheel route out of the trips formation. James Smith out to Dabrian Moss.
That was just a good play call. I mean, it's one of their bread and butters.
So you're on the 31-yard line of Grandview, St. Pius is.
Still same play call for me.
Well, you have an option here that you can go for the end zone probably twice right now.
It's got to be in the end zone.
It's right now I think if you go across the middle, it has to be a first down. I don't know if you can get up to the line and clock it in time, but I think you do have enough if you can get some receivers out deep. As we have trips to the left, we're going to have that same play call out to the left side this time. Pass was intended for Sipple, and instead that's going to be an incomplete pass. So with just over 7 seconds remaining at this point, I don't know if St. Pius is content to run those little bubble routes for the receiver, or if they're going to say, you know what, maybe try and go for the end zone. We'll see what happens and what Coach Oliver dials up.
I still think especially with 7 seconds now, I think you really got to take a shot here. Maybe you get a pass interference. If you turn it over, you turn it over, but at least it's there.
Mm-hmm. So as the Lancers break the huddle, you have doubles formation, 2 receivers out to the left, 2 receivers out to the right. As we're going to have looks like a setup for a wide receiver screen. Frimmel in on the catch. He's going to be brought down with exactly 1 second left and a flag on the play.
No.
I'm thinking it's going to be a late hit out of bound against the Eagles. So depending on where the ball's spotted, they're probably going to get half the distance tacked on after this penalty. And with 1 second left, the St. Pius X Lancers are going to have one more shot at the end zone right before half.
We'll see where the ball is spotted.
Looks like it's just inside the 20. We do have the personal foul on Grandview, so that should be about half the distance to the goal. So Grandview going to basically take it at about what would be first and goal at just inside the 10-yard line. We'll call it the 9-yard line. So one more play here. And you got to think, Chris, are you going to go maybe to a taller receiver? You've got number 86, Connor Hamilton. Or are you going to go with your bread and butter to your speed man, Eli Frimmel? You have some options here.
I'm looking for number 5, Dabrian Moss.
You've got 2 touchdowns for Frimmel. You've got McGuckin in with a receiving touchdown so far. As we have trips out to the right, maybe they're going to set up Dabrian Moss on this wheel route. Instead, they're going to have a nice pick play. Smith looking to run in a flutter route, flushed out of the pocket, and it's going to be caught by number 81, Drew Merciel, at the end of the first half, St. Pius X is going to take a 20-point lead with the 2-point attempt or extra point. St. Pius has always gone for the 2-point. Well, they've always gone for 2 points, and it looks like they're going to set that up again.
I don't know.
Well, now it looks like maybe
might be kicking.
Say, hey, we'll go ahead and I'll catch the touchdown, and then I'll kick the extra punt as well. As the clock reads 0 and St. Pius having a 20-point lead. Nice little 9-yard pitch and catch. Snap, hold, and kick is good. So at the end of the first half, the host, St. Pius X Lancers, taking the 21-0 lead over the visiting I-55 conference rival, Grandview Eagles. And Chris, go ahead and tell us what we're going to do now at halftime.
Well, we're gonna go to break, and we come back. We'll have a little bit of our recap of the first half. Sorry, I was trying to work over here. Recap of the first half, and we'll get you guys ready for action on the start of the second half. So we'll be right back with Between the Lines Friday Night Football. You're watching. It's presented by Off the Rails Media. Hopefully you're watching on our YouTube channel or Streamline Sports, all for free. We'll see you guys here in a little bit.
tailgate or tailgating to get to my tailgate. Now, it might not get me there any faster, but hey, it gets me ready for football. Let's tailgate.
I can't go anywhere.
But you're so busy watching me tailgate that you don't see the one in front of you. And your cut rate car insurance, it might not pay for this. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
I have a question about my listing price.
Updating listing to Lizard Heights.
No, listing price.
Wizard Kites.
Can I talk to a real human agent, please?
Hi, I'm Fran Tarkenton, Hall of Fame quarterback and founder of Tarkenton Financial. And this is my good friend and partner, Brian Waits, founder of Waits Financial Services.
Thanks, Fran. At Waits Financial Services, we believe in educating our clients, providing courteous service, and helping every person we work with create a winning game plan for their retirement.
Retirement is a lot like football. You need a solid game plan and great teammates in order to achieve success. That's why I started Tarkenton Financial, to help educate people about their choices and connect them with advisors I trust. And Brian is one of my trusted partners.
I'm here to help you meet your financial goals, minimize your tax burden, and ensure that you have income guaranteed for life. Let's get to work on your retirement game plan.
Call Brian Waits at Waits Financial Services today. You'll be glad you did.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
You aren't looking for a cookie cutter experience with your agent. You are looking for someone who is going to go above and beyond or think outside the box. You are looking for someone who is going to be there for you no matter what, and someone who is going to walk you through the entire process. My name is Kelly Kaufman with Gateway Real Estate, and my passion is the people I work with. Real estate is personal. A home is not just the four walls, it's the people who live there and the memories you share. That's why I focus on the people I serve and make them a top priority throughout the entire process. I'm there for you. No matter what your budget is, no matter where you are, and no matter how long it takes, I will be there with you every step of the way. If you are looking for an agent who cares about you and will do everything to make sure you are taken care of, give me a call, 314-221-6090.
New at Case & Buck's, all-you-can-eat soup and salad all day, every day. Choose from homemade soups like tortellini, loaded steak, green pepper, and many more. 7095 Metropolitan Boulevard in Barnhart, Missouri, just off 55. See our full menu at caseandbucksbarnhart.com.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to Between the Lines Friday Night Football. The host, St. Pius X Lancers. Well, maybe if I turn this thing on. There you go. Turn it on. It works better. Welcome back to Between the Lines Friday Night Football. We have the host St. Pius X Lancers leading 21 over the guest and I-55 rival Grandview Eagles, who have 0 on the board here at halftime. And Zach, I mean, even though the score's it's a 3-score difference. Right. I think this has been a pretty close game, all things considered.
It has. I think Grandview really early on, I mean, they've come up with some turnovers that the Lancers obviously went back, and one of them was basically at the 1-yard line that St. Pius was looking to go in, so it could have been a 28-0 ball game. Let's kind of recap some of the scores. Daybrean Moss got on the board first with 3:52 remaining in the first quarter on about a 6-7 yard rushing touchdown, and then later in the second quarter he picked up a second rushing touchdown from 11 yards with about 1:15 remaining in the half, and then St. Pius able to cause Grandview to go 4 and out. They had a punt, came up with some nifty plays, a little wheel route out to Daybrean Moss that got him inside the 30, picked up another gain to get inside the 10, plus a personal foul call. And so with basically 1 second on the clock, James Smith rolls out on a flood route pattern, instead comes back towards the middle, picks up Drew Merciel, number 81, a senior wide receiver, for the score. Then Drew caps off the scoring drive with his own PAT attempt, which is good. And Chris, that's kind of how we've arrived at this point of 21-0. And like you said, I think Grandview early on was executing their game plan. We talked about it early, and I think it was about, 6-7 minutes remaining in the first half. And we said, hey, if Grandview can muster up a few first downs here and there, lead the clock, they get the ball back here to start the second half, they were right where they wanted. Instead, St. Pius able to come up with some big scoring drives, some big scoring plays, get this three-score cushion, and looking maybe to do some more, start the second half.
Yeah, and I think, that when St. Pius came out and established the run right away, it opened up some big plays, especially towards the end, to midway to the end of the second quarter. And I think that you're probably going to see the Lancers go back to that recipe of a little bit more ground and pound, especially having a 3-score cushion, to see if they can maybe wear down the Eagle defense a little bit and get them to maybe to bite, to where they can open up some play action passes and get the ball down the field.
So we'll see for Grandview, who early on in the year really didn't have, their first game they played Paris, traveled all the way up there.
The Coyotes,
and won 33-13, and I think from what we had gathered, really didn't have too much of a problem. They came down this last week, hosted their first home game against Bayless.
Conference opponent, Bayless.
Yep, new conference opponent, and won 32-30 in a barn burner. And so now we don't know, without doing some research on how that game went. I know watching a little bit in the first half, they were up a few scores. So we're going to go ahead and assume that they held the lead. So now this is their first real probably taste of adversity, being down 3 scores, and we'll see what Coach Kiminal comes out with their halftime adjustments with visiting Grandview. But St. Pius Lancers, we broadcasted the game week 1 against Brentwood, and it didn't end up in the way the Lancers wanted to, and Coach Oliver with the 26-16 loss. And I think we said something like 9-10 fumbles on the play, and they lost probably about 5 to 6 possessions that way between I think an interception and all of the fumbles. Then they turned around and played DeBerg up at DeBerg and won 47-0, so they won handily. And so now I think what you're starting to see from St. Pius is that it's now week 3, it's a district opponent, it's a conference opponent. St. Pius being, if you want to debate the idea of you're the returning or defending conference champions, trying to prove themselves that, hey, we're ready to rock and roll again here in 2022. But you see some things that they still need to clear up. The fumbleitis is something that quarterback James Smith is going to have to fix, and you've seen some heady plays. Nolan Sipple came up with yet another interception, at least his 3rd on the season. He had 2 in week 1, and now another one here this week. I think you've seen some very, Very aggressive running by number 5, Dabrian Moss. Austin McGuckin's had some good runs, a couple cutbacks here and there. Eli Frimmel with a nice catch. Drew Merciel had that early pitch and catch from James Smith in the first quarter. He's really kind of been a focal point in this game. Hadn't gotten too involved in the first couple of weeks offensively. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you see the stalwarts, the normal names. Alex Moyse is coming up with some big tackles for loss. And then you have sophomore, the new, I don't want to call him sophomore sensation yet, but I think by the end of the year you're going to hear about this, whether it's on streaming events, you're going to hear it in the newspaper or all around maybe the interwebs about this sophomore Justin Lane.
The interwebs
fullback.
That's a good one, Grandpa.
Hey, well, you got to make do with what you got. But as we're going to have about 2:30 left to go, then the teams still haven't made their way as just now Grandview's coming out on a wonderful, wonderful night here at Father Dalton Stadium in Festus, Missouri. Chris, we can see the full moon just right, almost at midfield. Just a beautiful, beautiful time for some high school football.
Absolutely, and it's starting to get a little bit cooler. And I got to say, though, being in education, I really hate that full moon.
Yes.
I mean,
I concur.
There's a lot of truth to the fact that kids are a little bit more squirrely on a full moon, and for anybody who does not believe that that's a real thing, you just need to step in those shoes of any teacher.
To sub.
Yeah, I mean, we need subs. There's a subbing shortage. Any school, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be St. Pius, doesn't have to be Grandview. It can be any school. But if you got enough hours from college, go ahead and sub and do it during a full moon week. Every teacher would be glad to take maybe a personal day or mental health day. But I'll tell you what, it's really, you can tell both teams were amped up. Maybe it was a little bit of that full moon fever coming in.
Yeah.
But I look for Coach Kim out to make some great adjustments right here for the Eagles coming out. And I don't believe I wouldn't, if I'm the Lancers, I don't want to feel safe.
No.
Because, again, Grandview is going to come in, and I believe the way they've been playing, they are 2-0.
Right.
And they've had some winnings, some success winning. They're going to be looking right now to maybe change the fortune of this game.
Exactly. And I think you see, St. Pius has probably close to 40 players on their roster, and Grandview, it looks like, we're going to go ahead and assume maybe about half of that. So is fatigue going to set in? We're in a small school situation, and so players are going to have to go both ways, but is it a matter of, did Grandview kind of tucker out a little bit at the end of the first half? We'll see if they get their wind back a little bit as they're going to have the opening possession of this third quarter, and we'll see what type of adjustments Coach Kimenow is going to have. Now, the thing that they have to think about is you are down 3 scores. Now, as a coach in a football, being up 2 scores, that's the scary part. That's where you don't want your players to relax and kind of put it in neutral. Up 3 scores, you still don't want that, but there is that extra scoring cushion. And so Grandview, they're going to have to make decisions with this, I would say right away, with this opening drive. Are they going to continue to do what they do, which is option football, or are we going to try and air it out with quarterback number 12, Jacob Walker, the junior QB? We've seen some throws. He's already been picked off. I wouldn't necessarily categorize a strong arm. We've seen some floaters. Definitely not a strong arm like his counterpart, number 6, James Smith. But there's decisions that are going to have to be made in terms of what are they going to do? Are they going to stick with the ground and pound? They're going to have to air it out. You've seen them be successful running some of the hitch routes and wheel routes, things like that. So they can do it. It's just a matter of, are they going to be efficient?
Right, and that's the thing. I look for the Eagles to kind of stick with what they do for a little bit and see if they can't chip away and maybe get some big yardage, because that's what you want to try to do. You want to try to stay within yourself. But if things aren't working, I look for them to maybe see if they can get some yards throwing the ball. We've seen teams get behind the Lancers and between week 1 and the Jamboree, and we can see some definite improvement out of the defensive backs for St. Pius in the growing weeks here. So it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles come out and perform this half.
Correct. So there's about 2 minutes remaining here before we get going in the start of the third quarter, and I think if you are St. Pius, you're happy with Grandview to come out and try and ground and pound. They haven't really had that much success. They haven't had that much success running the ball. Yes, they picked up a first down here or there, but in terms of big play, no, they haven't done that. You know, St. Pius really has done an excellent job of taking away the big play ability from Grandview on the ground with that triple option. Now, they've schemed. Grandview has schemed and done some really good things, some trickeration, some misdirection, or wrinkles, but the big play just hasn't happened on the ground. So we'll see now as St. Pius is trying slowly to work their way out onto the field, and Coach Kimenow and his bunch is getting ready for. They're on the field just at about the 45-yard line with a little over a minute remaining here at the first half. Officials are getting in position, and so while we wait, you can see the ticker going across the board of as many updated scores around the area as we have, and there's some, this is basically the conference opener for the area, whether that's the I-55 conference, whether that's going to be the MAFC blue and white division, and that's kind of all of the other big Class 3, Class 4, Class 5 schools, the I-55 being more the Class 1, Class 2, as St. Pius and Drew Merciel getting ready to go. So back deep for the back deep for the Eagles, you have number 4, Wyatt Kime. And hard to see a number. I think that's a 24, Cameron Hagan. So
I believe you're right.
St. Pius forgot that they needed a football.
Got to have one of those.
Got to have one of those to play this game called football, but it happens, I bet it's not deflated. I bet it's ready to go.
I don't see Tom Brady out here. My boy. The Angels one.
Merciel's going to squib kick it, and Grandview will take over with excellent field position. So right off the bat, I get the idea that Coach Oliver may be trying to do a little trickeration, pick up a turnover, but you help Grandview by not executing the onside kick, and now you give almost 30 yards of offense you just gave right off the bat, and so now Grandview can basically do what they want, Chris.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you didn't want to have happen if you're Coach Oliver and the Lancers, but hey, now defense has to step up.
So as the defensive line starts to shift, triple option's going to be QB keeper. Nice little keeper here. He's still on his feet. He's going to break free. He's inside the 30, still on his feet. Nice QB keeper. Excellent triple option. Fake to the fullback. Jacob Walker with a big gain. And Chris, we just said they didn't have a big gain right off of the bat. First play of this third quarter after they picked up the onside kick. Grandview's rocking and rolling, and hey, they get a quick score here. Now you might worry a little bit about that thing called momentum.
Yep, and they went back to what they did. Triple option football.
So man in motion going left to right.
Good pitch.
Pitch out for the speed option. It's going to only pick up minimal gain. That was number 24. That's Cameron Hagan.
Yep, he was met there by number 56, Alex Moises. I'll tell you what, if Eli Frimmel, number 2, wasn't on his horse on that last play to take down the quarterback right there, that was 6.
Yep. So clock's going to continue to run here early in this third quarter. We're going to get under about 11 minutes by the time this play snapped. Walker, the shotgun, takes the snap. He's going to roll out to his right, looking to pass. Pass is going to be intended for number 24. Almost picked off again by Nolan Sipple. Kind of pinballed around both number 24, Cameron Hagan, and Nolan Sipple, number 7, their hands. And luckily for Grandview, it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it was thrown behind a little bit. I know there was some pressure coming on the quarterback from the Lancers. So
right off the bat, though, I love this play calling.
I do too.
He's going to say, let's be aggressive.
Why not?
Yep.
Down 3 scores.
Playing with house money on the opening onside kick return and then the big play. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 10. I think it's actually supposed to be 2nd, as Walker has nowhere to go, and he is met in the backfield again by Alex Moises, and we have heard his name all night.
Well, I talked to Alex today in the hallway, and he was extremely focused on this game. He's that kind of kid, man. He's an emotional leader, and when he gets locked in, he's a tough player. His motor is always going.
So we've got 4th down on the chain gang, marked 4th and about 13. And so we'll see what Grandview has drawn up here. We would say obvious passing down. So Walker gets the snap, going to make the throw, is going to be almost caught. Pass was intended for number 28, Travis Hoskins. Instead, with that incomplete pass, St. Pius dodges a little bit of a bullet there on the decision to onside kick. Then you had the big QB keeper on the triple option. And with that, Grandview kind of stalls out, and St. Pius the 10th will take over with 10 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the third quarter at about their own, we'll call it, 22-yard line.
Yeah, and again, I look for the Lancers to do a heavy dose of running the ball.
So they're electing not to go to the wishbone, going to go spread formation, doubles both to the left and to the right side. Smith's going back. It's almost, I think, a designed QB keeper right up the gut. Nice QB draw, still on his feet. Churning still on his feet. He breaks away, and he's finally going to be brought down at about the 45-yard line. And you see the athleticism that James Smith brings to the table with that quarterback position.
Yeah, I'm really happy he plays basketball. Not going to lie. He's an extremely athletic kid. He's almost deceptively athletic. That's the funny thing.
He would be what you would call, he's very shifty, he's very slick, and right there you see something that, a nice QB draw that was going to be a pickup of about 7-8 yards. Instead, it's a big gain, and now St. Pius right on the move.
Yeah, big gain for the Lancers. Let's see if they can capitalize now.
Man in motion, that's Moss. Going to be a give here to number 5, Dabrian Moss. He's going to be brought down by, looks like, number 7, Austin Blankenship. Just nowhere to go right there. It's going to be a gain, pickup of about 1.
Maybe 3 feet. Nope, they give him the yard.
Well, in most mathematical terms, 3 feet is a yard.
3 feet.
3 feet is a yard, Chris.
Maybe 3 feet.
I don't know if you're used to the metric system. I don't know if you've
been
to Canada by boat.
My assistant coach is from Europe, so they use the metric system.
Okay, all right.
We've been around him too much. He's also up here in the booth, Coach Kurtovic.
And he's shaking his head right now like, what have I get myself into? As Temple takes the jet sweep, turns on the burners himself, still going. Nice gain. That's going to be a gain of about 15, but hold a second. There is a flag on the play, and it's probably going to be either a hold in the area of maybe a wide receiver hold, and the way St. Pius is walking, it is. Yep, it's going to be hold on the Lancers, so that's going to negate about a gain of about 15 yards for senior Nolan Sipple. And just those receivers, you just get a little handsy out on the outside. You got to say, hey, you know what? You got to let go.
Yep, but that's the thing too. I look for the officials, maybe especially as many times as they've done some toss plays and pitches out to each side. To maybe watching that could be something that the Grandview coaches have said and gotten the officials' ear a little bit and said, hey, you gotta watch this. They might be holding us a little bit.
So instead of a first down inside Grandview territory, is going to back up the Lancers to 2nd and 12 as Smith's going to hit. Looks like number 2, Eli Frimmel, on a nice pitch and catch. He's still on his feet, going to pick up most of that yardage back, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and about, we'll call it 1. So nice little catch there by Eli Frimmel, and just using his speed. It's just a short hitch route. And these, Chris, these are routes that you see at the high school level and collegiate level. The hitches, the slants, the post curls, the drags, the 5-yard out. You just see these types of plays that are always working. It doesn't matter if it's small school, it doesn't matter if it's big school. You have a sure-handed receiver. Those are the types of routes that works, as James Smith's going to go from the wishbone formation on the QB keeper, and the officials, he picked up the first down.
Kind of wondering why that whistle didn't happen.
Everybody swallowed their whistle. Instead, James Smith's going to pick up the first down, but he's going to be driven back, and it looks like Dabrian Moss is requesting a timeout because I think James Smith has the wind knocked out of him a little bit after that QB sneak, and that's what's going to happen. So, Chris, we'll go ahead and we'll take a quick break here with 8:02 left to go in the third quarter. St. Pius X Lancers still up 21-0 over visiting Grandview. You are watching Between the Lines, a Friday Night Football edition brought to you by Off the Rails Media.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
We are back here as we are getting some trouble by some local guys in the press box here. As we have a botched handoff by James Smith, he is able to get it off to number 1, Austin McGuckin. McGuckin's going to pick up a nice run of about 4 yards. As we did have one of our sponsors, that's who's giving us some trouble.
Yes, the same one that you might have saw on that commercial, Home by SMCI. Give them a call today.
And that's something that, as you're watching with Off the Rails Media, I mean, Chris, we have some might call it too low sponsorship offers.
Hey, it's cheap for a reason. We want to help our local businesses, small businesses, get some advertisement.
As McGuckin's going to take the toss sweep out to the right side, picks up a nice gain. He has a great run here, and that's going to be good enough for a first down.
Yeah, he was taken down by number 4, Wyatt Kime. I think that's how you say it. Seems like it. Kime. But good tackle for him because I'm pretty sure that could have been 6 as well.
That was a nice run. I mean, you see for St. Pius, Austin McGuckin, he's got a burst of speed. We saw that in the Brentwood game. You're seeing that now. Nolan Simple, when he decides to, he can put his foot down in the grass and he can turn on the afterburners. Eli Frimmel, he's got some afterburners here. Now Dabrian Moss, he's kind of the Dabrian Moss, he's one of the hammers here, him and Justin Lane, and he's going to pick up a nice gain of about 4 yards. Dabrian Moss, one of these senior football players, he does have an offer for football at Central Missouri. That's out in Warrensburg, and he came up a little lame, it looked like.
Yeah, number 7, Austin Blankenship right there at the tackle, and he's kind of holding his arm. I mean, hey, Dabrian's a big old boy, and it's tough to bring down some of those guys sometimes.
Yeah, Dabrian listed to 6'2", 210.
He might be a little bit bigger now. He's been in the weight room a little bit.
So going back to the wishbone formation, receivers out left and right. That's going to be a QB keeper, James Smith. He's going to pitch it back to McGuckin. Nice read there, but there is going to be a flag on the play. McGuckin still on his feet. He's going to fumble the ball. So a lot of action here, and Grandview is going to pick up the fumble, and they're going to say that Grandview picked it up inside the end zone, but we will have to see. There's a flag on the play, so I don't exactly know what the play call could have been if he was going to say that ineligible receivers downfield, which it couldn't because it was a backward lateral. It wasn't a pass. It was an obvious pitch. And so we'll see if the officials, as they're huddled together, what type of decisions they're going to make. But, Chris, from our vantage point, I really thought that the ground caused the fumble with McGuckin.
Yeah,
now, I don't know if that's a high school rule.
They're picking up the flag,
so there's no flag on the play. I bet that's what they were discussing. And so after this, they are going to say that St. Pius and McGuckin did fumble again, so we have yet another turnover for the Lancers as McGuckin ran hard, but once again, you picked up the first down. You don't have to just go for it. You could go ahead and fall down. You're going to get first and goal at the 1, and instead Grandview's going to take the turnover, and what could have been a 4-score game now remains 21-0 with 6:08 left to go in this third quarter. And Grandview, with their first drive, able to pick up some big plays, and we'll see yet again what they can do after St. Pius shoots themselves in the foot.
Well, and that's exactly what happened. They've done it twice now down in the red zone. It was an awesome play by Smith, but you just got to take care of the ball.
Man in motion, going left to right, triple option. That's fullback number 22, Nash Moore. But he's going to be wrapped up again in the backfield. It looks like number 56, Alex Moises. We've heard this. He has had a heck of a game.
Yeah, him and Chase Watercutty, both seniors right there. They were not fooled. I mean, and then you got to play your gaps. You got to make your reads, and especially on triple option, you can't get caught watching the ball.
So Alex Moises, the defensive and offensive lineman, playing in the 3-3 stack, about the end position. So now we have a fake play action pass that's going to be picked off here. Another interception for the Lancers. I believe that's number 86, Connor Hamilton, with his interception, first interception of the game for him, and St. Pius will take over 1st and 10 at Grandview 41-yard line.
Yeah, and after losing the ball right there, that's something that the Lancers needed. They needed their defense to step up, and they sure did. 2 plays right there.
So we'll see what type of adjustments. Does it look like there's a stoppage in play? We're going to assume an official's timeout for water break. And Chris, with that, we'll take another short break. You are watching Between the Lines Friday Night Football, brought to you by Off the Rails Media.
I'm the latest hashtag challenge, and everyone on social media is trying me. I'm trending so hard that hashtag common sense can't keep up. This is gonna get tens and tens of views. But if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, you could be left to pay for this yourself.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
New at Case & Buck's, all-you-can-eat soup and salad all day, every day. Choose from homemade soups like tortellini, loaded steak, green pepper, and many more. 7095 Metropolitan Boulevard in Barnhart, Missouri, just off 55. See our full menu at caseandbucksbarnhart.com.
So we are back. We are back here at Between the Lines. And St. Pius will take over 1st and 10 at the Grandview 41. Shotgun snap. Smith back to pass, having all kinds of time to throw. Lets one loose. Gets a man deep. Pass is broken up by Grandview. It looks like number 24, Cameron Hagan. 34. So that is Landon Brown in on the deflection. And Chris, if Smith could have put maybe a little bit more air on it, you saw the showcase of the arm. If he had a little bit more touch, that might have been a big gain.
Well, he had all day to throw.
Nice, yeah.
He was back there. He was doing his taxes. He was texting his girlfriend. Did a couple Snapchat selfies. Good blocking right
TikTok?
there.
Did he have a TikTok?
You never know.
Yep.
It's probably everybody has TikTok. You probably have TikTok.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
Not at all.
Nobody believes you.
As we're going to have a handoff here to McGuckin. He's going to pick up gain of about 4, so that'll bring up a 3rd and long 6 for the Lancers.
Yeah, 69 Ethan Odolini, we've called his name a couple of times. I think he's about 3 or 4 tackles in this game. Went ahead and made the stuffing play right there with the run defense. And this is a big 3rd down right now for both teams.
It is, and with Coach Oliver, with the 3-score lead, clock continues to run. You literally have anything and everything at your disposal in the playbook. And Chris, you're exactly right. You want to ground and pound right now because it's 4th down. It's 4th down territory. But what do we know? Because they're going to go back to the double spread formation, and they're going to get a rollout, little flood route out to number 5. Pass was intended for Dabrian Moss. I mean, wide open. Nobody was around, and James, he had that QB sneak earlier in the game, and Coach, I'll be honest with you, I think he's still feeling some of the effects of it.
Yeah, I mean that couple throws right there that just weren't on the money, and I mean Dabrian was wide open. He was only being guarded by the good Lord himself right there. I mean,
as we have a timeout.
I think because we got the clock ran a little bit too long.
Yeah, so they're saying that 4:26 maybe.
Man,
they're looking to change the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4:26. So
we'll change our clock.
There we go.
Yeah, it's it's hard.
So now it's 4th down again, 4th and 6. Smith takes the snap, rolls out to the right. Needs to go ahead and keep it.
Yeah,
but there's a flag on the play, and he's going to be brought down. Now it's in the
another flag
of holding, and so now you have another flag on the play. It might be a little extracurricular activities here, and with that, you might see some offsetting penalties, infractions, and we might have to replay 4th down. So again, officials conferencing together. I think the first one that we saw was obvious holding.
Yeah, and you're going to see this kind of play sometimes in conference games when you got rival schools going at each other. There's been a little chippiness between both schools in many sports.
So we have one infraction on St. Pius, another infraction on Grandview, offsetting penalties, and that'll replay 4th down. So we'll have 4th and 6.
We will try this again.
See what the Lancers dial up. And Chris, with a 3-score lead, I get the idea of it, of saying, hey, let's kind of open up the playbook. But everything's kind of been stagnant now. You haven't had real flow. If it's me if they don't pick up this first down and you go back to their next possession, I think I just say, hey, you know what? We'll go back to the wishbone. We'll go back to ground and pound, and we're going to just see if we can just go right down your throat. And right now, with Grandview, you're thankful. I mean, you haven't scored yet, but I mean, St. Pius is kind of letting Grandview hang around. As we have shotgun formation, doubles out to the left and right. Smith's going to take. It's going to be a QB keep. Draw up the middle.
Play.
He's going to get the first down, and then he's going to be tackled out of bounds by number 22, Nash Moore. That's a designed QB draw, and I like the play call here on 4th down.
Especially as deep as he was in the shotgun right there, gave him plenty of time to kind of let those ends get around deep, and then
allow the offensive lineman to go up to second level.
Do exactly what they need to do.
Yep. So right now, with 4:08 remaining in the third quarter, the Lancers are sitting pretty at the Grandview 27-yard line, 1st and 10, as the Lancers break the huddle, and they go right back to the wishbone formation.
There we go. You called it.
Yep. So we're going to hand off to Austin McGuckin.
Good move.
He's running, taking a nice step, still on his feet. So are you saying fall forward there?
No.
Chris Minot, not fall forward?
Say fall forward. We don't play that game here.
We don't want to fumble the ball, huh?
Well, just
fall forward. You don't fumble the ball.
Well,
that's an inside joke. That's an inside joke with Off the Rails Media. You could go to watch our show called The Coach's Box on our Facebook page or YouTube page and hear all of the different arguments that Coach Chris Miller, myself, Coach Jason Jarvis, and Riley Blair of Herculaneum have all the time about the all kinds of ideas. As Dabrian Moss he's going to get the handoff out to the left-hand side. And we finally have a whistle that's stopping the play as Dabrian is going to pick up a nice gain of about 6 yards.
And, good run for Dabrian, and good swarming defense right there by the Eagles. But man, those whistles are late.
It's almost like NFL whistles, right?
Just waiting to see what happens. Should we blow it? You gonna blow it?
They'll stop at some point, right?
Yeah.
So as the play clock winds under 15 seconds here, and game clock going to be under 3 minutes. St. Pius in the wishbone formation. Smith takes the snap, handoff given to McGuckin. He's going to pick up, depending on where the far official is going to step, where he's at, it looks like it's going to be a 1st and goal. And looking for the white hat decision here. They're still looking, and they're going to say he came up a bit short. I thought off of the initial reaction of the far official.
But you know what? That's a good thing for the Lancers right there. I mean, lets the clock run and gives them another chance to maybe get a deeper first down closer to the goal line,
right,
or a touchdown.
Yep. So it's going to bring up 3rd and inches as you're going to get a handoff to McGuckin again. He is going to come up just short of the goal line. as the play will stop for the first down. There'll be first and goal, and one can assume here if St. Pius can just manage to hold on to the ball that they're looking to score yet again for the fourth time this evening.
Yeah, well, we've seen them get right about down here and not score.
We have a couple times.
Grandview defense taking advantage of some of the mistakes by the Lancers to keep it relatively close.
Now, the thing that you also have to think about when we're talking about score is St. Pius and the Wishbone going to hand off again to McGuckin, and we are going to get a score now.
There's a score.
McGuckin with the 1-yard TD run with 1:53 remaining in this third quarter. Will bring the score initially now 27-0, as it looks like St. Pius brings out new kicker Drew Merciel for the point after attempt.
And St. Pius graduating really good kicker Logan Jacobson, who's playing ball right now at Northern Illinois.
Punter for the team. As Drew kicks it, it's up, and it is good. And so with that, the score goes up to St. Pius, the 10-28, and visiting Grandview 0. So, Chris,
the band is playing, and you can definitely probably hear them
loudly, which is good for the home crowd. We have a really, really good audience here in the stands. A lot of fans in the stands for both Grandview and St. Pius. And so hopefully you're watching with us at home, or if not watching it live, you can go ahead and rewatch it.
And by the way, if you want to watch this again, you know what? It's not going to. How much money is it going to cost you to watch it again, Zach?
Well, with the Off the Rails production, we don't charge anything. We do not believe in putting anything behind a paywall.
You can watch it free now. You can watch it free later on. If you're a parent of one of these kids out here, you want to give them the business on how they played, you can do that.
So as a squib kick out to number 4, that's Wyatt Kime, and he looks to be stopped on the play at about the 21 by number 4. That is Matt Mariani, and St. Pius with the obvious momentum right now, and we'll see with Grandview their first taste of adversity, how they come back after that long touchdown possession that St. Pius just had.
And that's going to be kind of the sign for the way the game is going to go. It's going to be curious to see if the Eagles get away from their triple option, try to look to air it out. The quarterback's already thrown 2 interceptions on the night.
Yeah, and that was something that I think, talking with the St. Pius staff, that they were hoping to try and exploit, as we're going to have a give up to, I believe, number 22, Nash Moore again. Now, something that we were talking right before St. Pius scored that 4th touchdown is, Chris, with district play, there is a mathematical equation that comes into when it comes into figuring out district seating.
We already saw how bad I am at math.
Well, me too. I can't do it. When they started putting letters instead of numbers, that was it for me. But what happens with this equation is you're not only playing district opponents, conference opponents, you're playing teams from different classifications, and then you also have the amount of points that you score in terms of victory, and so that can be a number that's going to be called the plus 13. So teams are trying to win, and not only they're trying to win by at least 13 or more, so they get the maximum amount of points for each week when it tabulates the district standings. So speaking of standings right now, Grandview sitting at atop of Class 1 District 2, but after, as it looks like tonight, it might change.
Right. It looks like there's some confusion right there by the Eagles, and we have laundry on the field.
We're going to have an infraction, it looks like, by Grandview.
I think there was a legal man in motion. They had several guys moving that shouldn't.
So a false start here for the Eagles.
We got a barn burner going up the road at Herculaneum right now. It's still 8-8.
Nice.
So that's a big conference matchup in the I-55 to keep your eye on, because Grandview comes in 1-0, and that's the Herculaneum R7 game is always a big rivalry game for both schools.
As Grandview sends a man in motion, fullback give.
That's
and
enough
he's
for
going to
first.
pick up not only what they lost, but also going to pick up a first down. So a nice run by number 22, Nash Moore of the Grandview Eagles. And Chris, I'm going to be honest with you, I like Moore. He runs the ball hard. He gets his pad level relatively low. And with 20 seconds remaining of this third quarter, we'll see if Grandview can get some type of momentum. Maybe this last play, something positive that they can get rolling going into the fourth quarter. Man in motion again, right to left. It's going to be another. Nope. It's going to be a pitch out. That's going to be a fumble on the play. And far referee had a flag out. He put it back in his pocket. And with that, I can't tell if they are going to have I believe they are going to have a change in possession.
Yep.
And so with 0.4 seconds remaining, we'll see if there's a little razzle-dazzle here for St. Pius. If they're going to say, hey, let's go for the. Chris is shaking his head. I'm going to say 0.4 of a second left. We're going to see a play throw into the end zone.
No way.
Coach Eddie sitting next to me here.
Coach Eddie here, who doesn't know anything about football, American football, plays in the soccer league on Sundays.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. They're in the wishbone formation.
They're going to run the ball. Look for it to happen.
Yep,
called it.
All right, he called it. But it is a nice gain, and that is going to end the third quarter. That's going to bring up probably a second and short here for St. Pius. And Chris, with the St. Pius X Lancers clinging to a 28-0 lead, we'll go ahead and we'll take a short break here. You are watching Between the Lines, the Friday Night Football edition, brought to you free by Off the Rails Media.
Tailgating to get to my tailgate. Now, it might not get me there any faster, but hey, it gets me ready for football. Let's tailgate.
I can't go anywhere.
But you're so busy watching me tailgate that you don't see the one in front of you. And your cut rate car insurance, it might not pay for this. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
All right, so we are back here at Father Dalton Stadium in Festus, Missouri. Beautiful Friday night evening.
Full moon rising.
Full moon rising. It is almost directly over the 50-yard line here at Father Dalton Stadium. And St. Pius X, with a 28-0 lead over I-55 rival Grandview, looking to add to their lead as the start of the fourth quarter as we get a handoff to Austin McGuckin, still on his feet. It's going to be enough for a nice big gain, and that's going to bring up a first and goal for St. Pius.
Yeah, good running. I mean, Austin's had a couple of bad carries, but that's from trying to do too much. And, you know, he's a competitive kid. He wants to win. And sometimes you just got to know when to hold him. You got to know when to fold him.
I knew that was.
Sorry, I mean, it's just the way it is.
And everybody else in the press box is giving Chris the business here.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, the 1980s references. I mean, you know.
Old soul over here, sorry.
Old soul as the clock's going to continue to roll now. St. Pius electing to go into the spread formation. He's going to get a give here to sophomore number 23, Justin Lane. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Nice give. He's going to pick up a few yards. And, Chris, I like that call. I want to get the sophomore going.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only on defense we've called his name, but as we move into these later weeks and you know, teams are going to start to have players that are having injuries and they're banged up and they're bruised up. I mean, it's nothing like having a fullback bowling ball that just can get you 3, 4, 5 yards when you need it.
That's exactly right, and he's the kind of kid who can do that. He works hard, he runs hard, he plays hard.
So
Give him the ball.
St. Pius goes back to the wishbone formation. Smith turns around, looks, make sure everyone's set. It's going to be
There he
again
is.
handoff to Justin Lane. That's going to be a touchdown for St. Pius. A run of about 2 yards for Mr. Lane.
That's a hard run right there,
Hard
too.
run. I believe that is his first touchdown on the year. I'll have to look up the statistics.
I believe you're right.
So, sophomore Justin Lane with his presumably first varsity touchdown as St. Pius opens up a big 34-0 lead as number 81 kicker Drew Merciel getting ready for the PAT. QB James Smith is going to be the holder, and it looks like center number 60, that is Alan Reed, looking for the snap.
Let's see if Merciel can go 3 for 3.
Got the snap, hold, and kick.
Man,
and all is good. So with that score, that now brings the situation to a turbo clock. St. Pius, after this kickoff, will initiate the turbo clock with 10:45 left to go in this ball game.
And the band is wound up.
They are celebrating here at Father Dalton Stadium. You got the cheerleaders with the St. Pius X flag, navy blue and white, going back and forth, getting the kids all rowdy here for Friday night football game, and
definitely rowdy night.
Their weekend off here.
It's been a long week already, Coach.
And it was a short week.
It was a short week.
And it was a long week, right?
How's that possible?
So is Drew Merciel back to kick for the Lancers and back deep for Grandview. That's going to be number 4, Wyatt Kime, and number 24, Cameron Hagan, as Merciel's going to kick it to about the 26-yard line. Hagan picks it up off one hop. Breaks one tackle, breaks two tackle, big hit on the play. That's big number 11.
There's
Chase Watercutty again, the 6'4" senior transfer with a big stick, and we have a player down here. So Chris, why don't we go ahead and we'll take a short break.
We'll stay here. We'll just bring it up to the booth a little bit, and you know, Zach, I'll tell you right now. I mean, I like what I've seen from Grandview, but they just can't capitalize on some of the Lancer mistakes, and then when that happens, I really think the fact that the ground and pound has kind of wore the Eagles down a little bit, and you can see it as the Lancers have extended the lead.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know, and everybody around the area knows that, you know, athletic director Coach Tilden Watson does a phenomenal job in the weight room, and he's done that really for decades, even before being here at St. Pius. I mean, he's worked with some world-class athletes, and you have people that have, you know, looked him up for training purposes, whether that's going back to Olympian Brittany Borman or whether that's now present-day MLB pitchers Michael Brewer and Alec Casena. You know, they're in the minor leagues right now, and so St. Pius really does an excellent job of getting in that weight room. And over the years, whether working at Grandview or working at some other districts, you've always see St. Pius teams that are built, even though they've moved down from Class 2 down to Class 1, Chris, and we still see as the injured Lancers up by himself here and walking gingerly. That's Eli Frimmel, but what we see is you see big school or large school bodies from small school players, and that's a credit to Coach Tilden Watson. That's a credit to everybody, really, honestly, in the St. Pius community. They have, they built this new wellness center. They added on to it last year, and the facilities for a small school are just dynamite.
Yeah, and and not to shift the focus or anything here, but I'll tell you right now, I think what Grandview has going on, you can see that their kids have gotten in the weight room, and that's been a big change since I was actually working there for kids wanting to get in as well.
So as we have a give here to the fullback, we'll get a number on that.
Is it number 22?
Number 22.
Still waiting.
Yep, number 22.
There's Nashmore again.
Yep, Nashmore in on the carry as the clock's going to go ahead and continue to run now, even on a incomplete pass with a 35-0 score that initiates the turbo clock in Missouri high school football. Once an opponent is up by 35, the game clock's going to continue to run, as there's going to be a botch snap over the head of the QB, caught by number 7. That's Austin Blankenship, and there's going to be a big hit way back. There's going to be a big loss of about almost 20 yards there, and not what you wanted if you're Coach Kimenow in Grandview.
No, and I'll tell you what, good pursuit by the Lancers right there, and quarterback finished off right now by Alex Moises. He's there. He's the guy who's got the motor going.
Yep, been all over the field defensively this evening, and really we talked about it. You know, he's one of these senior captains, and he is kind of the emotional leader for the Lancers. And when he's got he's that type of player that always has a motor, and the motor is always running, and it's always running on red. Yep. I mean, I've never seen him in a football game seem to get tired at all.
I wish I had that kind of motor.
That energy. As we have a pass attempt here by number 12. That's going to be picked off by number 4. That's Matt Mariani. And we're going to see, there's going to be a flag. That's going to be a pick 6, but no, it's what's called the blindside block or the crack block that has been outlawed in high school football that you are not allowed to do. Now, St. Pius will retain possession, but you can't have the word is not blindside block or crack block. Can't remember exactly what it is, but crack block, yes, where you crack down. That's what you used to call it. But there is a blindside hit that you are not allowed to anymore in high school football. Instead of going towards an end zone, go away from it and initiate contact on a player.
Coach Kardovic looks confused. I think he's looking for the yellow card on this.
Red card.
Red card.
It should be red. Hey, let's not go
bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, Eddie, I don't know anything about soccer. Is that bad?
Oh, it's bad.
Red cards are bad. Okay.
So
write that down.
After the interception by number 4, Matt Mariani, St. Pius will retain possession, but it will knock them back. So instead of a pick 6, they will have a 1st and 10 at about the Grandview 25-yard line, as the clock will continue to roll after the initial play, and you start to have JV players for the Lancers come in now, and we'll see what the JV kids can do. So we'll get some new names here for you.
You got some guys still running onto the field here.
Yep.
Like, I'm in.
Time to go. When your number's called, it's called.
It's 14. Brendan Irvin's now under center.
Wishbone formation. It's going to be a toss out to number 3. That's Alex Westerman. Slips through his hands. That'll be loss of about 7. So that'll bring up a 2nd and long for St. Pius. Not exactly what you want for your first snap of varsity action here by some of the younger players for the Lancers.
No, I don't know if his father was very happy with that pitch. Shoulder shrug up here.
We'll talk about it in the car, son. We'll talk about it in the car. So
let's watch that film.
Yeah, so as Irvin's under center takes the snap, it's going to be a handoff here to number 3 for the Lancers. That's Alex Westerman. So I like what Coach Oliver's doing. Alex botches that toss, and they're going to say, hey, let's go right back to him. And Westerman able to pick up a few yards back off of the 2nd down attempt. So that'll bring up 3rd and long for St. Pius, as we will eventually get under 7 minutes remaining in gameplay. Some younger guys checking in, see if we can get some names here for you. Looks like number 17, that's a Zane Creed. He's checked into a ball game. Chris, some other guys, if you can tell here.
It's kind of hard still to see the numbers. There's a little glare for me.
So we're going to have a fumbled snap, pitch and catch. Nice throw
pass
here by sophomore quarterback Brendan Irvin. Pass it looked like was intended for
31.
Brandon
Shelp. freshman.
Just in and out of his hands, and that was a nice thrown ball by the sophomore.
Yep, after the botched play.
So, clock's going to continue to run. Look like, I believe, a number 8, Roland Creed. He's checked into the ball game.
Checked in for his brother.
18 also, that's Jack Mashad. He's in for the Lancers. As some of the JV bodies for Grandview is also in. We're going to have a pass attempt for Irvin. He's going to look for a receiver downfield. And that pass is going to go just over the head of intended receiver. That is number 18, Jack Mashad.
Jack Mashad, incomplete.
I would say that the Mashad would have possibly got a pass interference or had a chance to catch the thing had he kept running. He kind of hesitated a little bit.
And they're actually going to call it.
They are calling it.
So after the play, we'll see now what the play call is going to be. So Chris, tell us a little bit while they get this straightened out. What are some of the things that we have from Off the Rails Productions?
Well, if you haven't already seen, on Thursdays, usually around noon, we have a new show. It's called On the Move with the Caravan Football Preview with Jim Powers, who's a part of Scoops with Danny Mack. You might know who Danny Mack is. He is the voice of the Cardinals, and he's one of those guys who loves, recognizing high school athletes, high school sports in general. And if you go to scoopswithdannymac.com, they really got it going on. Him and Jim Powers do a great job of covering local sports in the area. And on top of that, Jim Powers is on Fox 2. He'll probably be on there tonight at 10, the
10
Prep
after
Zone.
10, yep, 10 after 10. You can check that out.
Go to the Prep Zone. You can check it out. He might even highlight the Lancers tonight.
So as the clock's going to go ahead and continue to run with 5:40, Lancers is going to get another reprieve here as we get a toss out to, looks like, number 21. That's Xander Hale. He's going to be tackled for a loss of about 1 yard. As we can get some of the Grandview names, number 7, that is Austin Blankenship. He's in the ball game. Looks like, I believe, in number 17, a Wyatt Tebow. He's still in. Number 26, Cameron Brooks, we see. Number 50, looks like a Wayne Borden. 44 still in the ball game. That's Isaac Walker. 28, maybe Travis Hoskins. As we're going to have a fullback give. Nope, we're going to have a pitch out on the option. Nice pitch out to Alex Westerman. He's going to run, get a hard run here. It's going to be stopped just short of a first down.
It was like number 34.
Number 34, that's Landon Brown in on the stop for Grandview. Bring up a third, and we'll call it 2. Nice little triple option there from the sophomore quarterback. Chris, I thought it went right to the fullback. Instead, he pulled it, then made a great decision out to kick it out to the Alex Westerman on the pitch. And so we'll see if the JV Lancer crew here can score against what it looks like still some of the varsity players for Grandview. Number 8, Lucas Hannon, is in. He's a freshman. As we're going to have a fourth down here for the Lancers with a pickup of about 1. So we'll see what happens here on 4th and 1 for the junior varsity Eagles. And we have a
mass sub.
Maybe they're going to try a field goal attempt. I don't know what they're setting up.
Looks like a field goal attempt.
Looks like they're going to go for a field goal. Work on it now that you're up 35, as we have some players coming in here. Going back to kicker Drew Merciel, QB Smith. Snap is good. Hold was good.
I don't think
Kick was not good. That is going to be no good. And Grandview will take over on the
turnover on downs.
Failed field goal attempt.
It wouldn't be turnover on downs, would it? Because he missed the field goal attempt. Tried to kick it.
Yep.
Can't do that.
That's good, though, but that's what you want.
You got to get some practice in.
Got to get some practice in. It's hard to do that sometimes at actual practice. You don't have the adrenaline pumping here. And, you know, you can see the players coming in trying to do that extra or that field goal attempt. They're like, wait, now? You want us to go in right now?
Now? Right now?
Yeah.
Right now.
So Grandview, some of the other players that they have at number 73, Ethan Smith. On the line, number 66, Jacob Jesus checking in. Number 24, we said Cameron Hagan, he's back in.
It's a good time for kids to get a chance to get in the game. Work on some stuff.
So we have a fullback, number 44 with the big hit. That's Isaac Walker.
He was still going.
Still going. He's finally brought down. And as that clock's going to continue to run, Grandview with a nice run. Trying to, they're going to go hard all the way till the end of the ball game here, see if they can pick up a score.
You know, and that's you gotta love that. You gotta love when kids are coming in and they're still playing hard. And Walker's one of those kids who's played hard all night, but now he's getting a chance to carry the ball.
Man in motion going to the right. It's going to be another handoff to 44. He's still on his feet. He's going to break out to the outside. Brought down by, look like, number 8, Roland Creed, in on the stop. And that might have been a touchdown-saving tackle from the senior defensive back.
I mean, I like the way that kid runs. He gets a chance. He's only a freshman. He looks like a senior out there.
Yes, he does. That is a big boy.
That's a big old boy.
So
I like this kid.
Yeah. So as the Eagles break the huddle, putting a man in motion.
Under a minute.
For the fly sweep. That's actually going to count as a pass because he tossed it. Stopped on the play. That looked like number 18, Jack Mashad, freshman, with a big stop.
Captain Jack right there with the stop. He loves hearing that.
Something tells me that's going to be his nickname here for the basketball season.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking.
That's one of Coach Eddie's kids.
There we go. So as the clock runs down, under 23 seconds remaining in the ball game, we'll see if we get another handoff here. Almost caught in the backfield. Number 4 just happens to slip. That is Wyatt Kime. And we'll see if Grandview hurries up to the line for one more play. See if they can get it off here as the clock's going to run down under 5, and instead they're going to elect to let the clock run out. So with that, St. Pius is going to move to 1-0 in the I-55 conference, and they're going to move to 2-1 on their record this year. Grandview, they're going to go to 1-1 in conference play, and they're going to drop to 2-1. So some obvious district standings will probably change. We'll see what happens with some of the other teams around the area.
Well, it looks like Herculaneum just took a 8-point lead over Jefferson R7.
There we go. Just right down the road, I believe.
That's going to set up a big matchup in a couple weeks.
Well, so talking about matchups while we're here, and we're going to try and wrap this show up. Grandview, it doesn't get any easier for them. They're going to actually go head out, Chris, I can't believe this, out to St. Dominic. That's a school that has, we just heard today, has over 1,000 students in their high school enrollment. And Grandview, just about 300 of them. It's a Class 1 school, so that's going to be an interesting matchup for the Eagles as they suffer their first their first defeat of the year. Next week, you have the rivalry. You have St. Pius is going to travel right down the road, down 61-67 to Jefferson R7, and this game, however it finishes against Herculaneum, R7's going to be looking for some payback after that last-second miracle that St. Pius won.
Pulled out of
thin air. It was out of thin air. So going to be another great matchup and rival game next week with the Lancers. So kind of doing some recaps here. We'll go all the way back to the start of the ball game. Daybury and Moss got the Lancers on the scoreboard first with a 6-yard TD run at about 3:52 in the first quarter. 2-point attempt was good. After that, going into the second quarter, Daybury and Moss also scored on an 11-yard touchdown run. Extra point attempt was good, 14-0, with 1:15 remaining in the second quarter. And then St. Pius able to hold the Eagles and force a punt late, scored with 1 second on the clock to end the first half. James Smith to Drew Merciel for a 9-yard touchdown pitch and catch. So going into halftime, St. Pius took a 21-0 lead. Coming out of halftime, Austin McGuckin in the third quarter scored on a 1-yard touchdown run with 1:53 left to go in the third. And then right here at about 10:45 in the fourth, you have sophomore Justin Lane with a 2-yard touchdown rush. And the extra point was good. So that brings the final to 35-0 for the first home win for the St. Pius X Lancers. And Chris, what did you think? What's your synopsis here of this ballgame, your review?
I mean, it's a totally different team than we saw 2 weeks ago here against Brentwood for the Lancers. A couple different times ball security was an issue early, but clean that up, establish the run, own the trenches, and just kind of wore the Grandview down a little bit. And that's what you kind of want, to time of possession, kind of working the ball. And I'll tell you what, Coach Gibbenow has done a great job with the Eagles, and I'm very impressed with how hard they play. There's no quit in them, and I don't look for them to just really fall off the map or anything after such a great year last year. I know the St. Dominic game is going to be extremely tough, but the rest of the way, that's what you want to do. You want to play a couple of tough schools, and I know the conference is tough this year.
It is.
There's good teams top to bottom.
Well, it is. And you talk about from top to bottom, we can just go right into the state rankings with St. Vincent. They were, I think, number 8 in Class 1.
I look for them to move up. I believe either they were winning 24-7 the last we saw against Perryville.
So they'll move up the ranking board most likely, and we'll obviously see some changes in the district standing after all of the scores come in Friday night and Saturday afternoon as well. So, Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we can kind of wrap things up here as once again the St. Pius X Lancers with the 35-0 victory over rival Grandview Eagles.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for watching, whether you're watching on the Coach's Box YouTube channel or you're watching on the Streamline Sports app. Don't forget that almost every week we have the Coach's Box Call Like We See It video podcast with me and Coach McVey that's with me tonight, as well as Jason Jarvis and Riley Blair, both boys and girls coaches from Herculaneum. Coach Jarvis is one of the football coaches for Herculaneum, so we always get to talk about football, basketball, baseball, or whatever the heck we want.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. Tune in for that. It's definitely ends up going off the rails at times, especially when Coach Jarvis gets mad at Coach McVey. But
it's pretty much every week.
About every week. And we also have our new Thursday show, On the Move with the Caravan football preview with host Jim Powers. You can see Jim in about another hour on Fox 2, and that's presented by Off the Rails Media and Scoops with Danny Mack. Don't forget, if you want to see and read and get some recaps on high school sports in the area, you can check out scoopswithdannymack.com. Jim does a great job with that, and so does Dan McLaughlin, the voice of the Cardinals, as well. And in 2 weeks, we will be right back here with the Herculaneum St. Pius X matchup. We'll see how games play out next week, see what the record goes for both teams, but
see if there's some conference championship implications, especially if Herculaneum holds on to this win this week and they both can pick up a win next week as well.
Yep. So appreciate everybody for tuning in and being a part of this fun. Don't forget, tell people if they didn't get a chance to be here at the game or watch it, that that this game is going to be on our YouTube channel. It'll also be on Streamline Sports for free. We don't have to go and pay anything to watch it later on. And make sure everybody knows that. Share it out. Go back and watch it a few times. And if you do like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like the video. If you don't, go ahead and just put you don't like it. If you say, wow, this is dumb, I don't like this stuff.
Watch it anyway.
Watch it anyway. Tell us you don't like it. Leave a comment. If you did enjoy it, feel free to leave comments. We do appreciate all the support. And again, for Coach Zac McVey and everybody here in the St. Pius X booth, I'd like to wish you guys all a good night. Thank you all for joining us. And we will see you guys again in a couple weeks for Between the Lines Friday Night Football. You've been watching Off the Rails Media. Have a great night.